What's up, Wolf Pack? My name is Paul, and you're watching Alpha Wolf Knife and Weapon Review. Today we're going to be talking about the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 and how you can make it run even smoother than it already is on those phosphor bronze washers it has. A lot of you are already familiar with the Paramilitary 2. It's a great knife, probably one of their most renowned from Spyderco. It comes in every blade type, a steel and handle type you can imagine, all different color G10, aftermarket handle scales all over the place. But before we get into that, I just want to know if you guys are part of the Wolf Pack or not. If you're not part of the Wolf Pack, subscribe. Become part of this great community we have here. People that watch the videos, you can see the videos right away instead of having to search for them if you're part of the Wolf Pack here and you're subscribed. And also, if you liked this video or any videos you watch pretty much over a minute or so, you should pretty much like, just out of courtesy to the creators. I just appreciate everything you guys do for me, you know what I mean? And leave comments on there if you want to leave a comment, Alright, so I'm going to be talking about this absolutely beautiful Paramilitary 2 in Blurple real quick before we get into how to make it run even smoother than it already is. This Paramilitary 2 is CPM S110V. I'm going to get a close-up on there for you, show you. Yeah, CPM, there it is. There we go. It doesn't like to zoom in. There we go. CPM S110V. Absolutely beautiful blade. Let's move these out of the way here. There we go. Now it's zooming in. Now it's actually working. Here we go. So yeah, it's a full flat grind, which is why I love this Paramilitary 2 so much. With that full flat grind, it cuts very well. It's a compression lock. It's got a nice compression lock. If I can get it to zoom in, yeah. A nice little compression lock there. Compression lock is like Spyderco's type of lock. It's almost like a liner lock, but it's on the top instead of the bottom. And you can kind of see they hollow it out a little bit. We're going to open this up and I'll show you guys exactly how to make this run even smoother. Now, that beautiful pocket clip is reversible, and it's tip up, tip down, and reversible. It's got holes on both sides, up and down on either side. That also has a lanyard hole, and these things are USA made in Golden, Colorado. Absolutely amazing blades. Support a USA company, why not? If you don't already have a Paramilitary 2 and you like Spyderco, go ahead, get yourself a Paramilitary 2. These things are great, you won't regret it. Blade length on this is 3 7/16 or 87 millimeters. Blade thickness is 9/64 of an inch or 3.5 millimeters. with an overall length of 8 and 9/32 of an inch, or 210 millimeters, with a weight of 3.75 ounces, or 106 grams. All right. Now that we've talked about my blue, purple G10 scaled Paramilitary 2, let me show you exactly how we can make this run even smoother. Now it already does run pretty smooth. I mean, you flick it open pretty easily. But when you get these, you know, you always want to kind of like make them run as smooth as they possibly can. They're nice knives. They're worth the effort. You know what I mean? Let me show you. All right, now before we start, I just pulled out my rubber Raiseek pad just to help hold the internals of this knife. And I have my CRKT, just little driver kit. Okay, well, let's get to working on this knife, shall we? So I'll pull that out. Okay, we start with T8 bits, T8 bit, and we'll just try to work these screws out. Little tough there. See if you can see it. We'll zoom in a little so you can see it better. There we go. There's one. There's two. I'm just putting those screws off to the side, and there's a little spot right there. Okay. Yep, now we take the pivot screw out, which is a T10, I believe. So we shall unscrew that. Okay. All right, now we'll take this apart gently. Okay. Put the knife blade aside. I'll actually put it up top and get it out of the way. Now we have these phosphor bronze washers, which I'll be needing to take out. Oh, in order to take this washer out, I actually have to take the pocket clip off to get to that other screw. Let's see what size these are. They look to be T6s. So far, we've used the T8 and the T10. We'll put those aside. Now we just need some T6s for this. Okay. Okay, I'll put that aside. There we go. Now we can get to the other pivot screw. Okay. Okay. Take the little pivot spacer there. Put that aside. Okay, now we have access to the washers. Now, if you'll notice with these washers, let's zoom in. You can see they're not 100% polished. They have little edges to them. Let's see if I can get a better view of it. Yeah. You can see they're not 100% polished. And they have little tiny edges to them, and you can see where it's hitting. What I want to do is get a nice polish on these, and then oil them back up, put them back in, and we'll see how much smoother she runs. Alright, so let's do that, shall we? I'm going to show you exactly how we're going to get that going. Okay, I'm going to put everything aside for now. All we're going to need for this right now is the leather strop and the washers. So what we're gonna do is put a little bit of polish on that, and I'm just using the Flitz polish. Shake it up real good. Make sure it's nice and mixed before we put any on there. Alright, just one little drop will be fine. A couple drops, whatever, it's okay. Then we just put the washer on there. We just take the washer, a little too much, and make little figure 8 movements. Take a little of that off, it's too much. Yep. We're just polishing the washer. You want to hit it from all angles, so that's why we're going figure 8 instead of back and forth. That's what you want to see. See how it's a little dark colored? That means you got some off, some residue off of there. Yeah, I'll do that for about a minute. Get a nice polish on there. There we go. Now you see a nice polish on there. If I can wipe it off. There we go. Now it's nice and polished. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Wipe this down a little. Try to get all the residue off. See how black that is? That's all residue from the washer. I get all that residue off and do the same thing on the other side. Try to get one drop this time. Boop, that's all we need. Got one drop. Now let's do the other side. Do that again for about a minute. Again, just figure 8 so you get it from all angles. Okay, you see all the black that came off? Now it's nice and polished. Okay, here is the phosphor bronze washer on the left, all polished up, next to the untouched washer on the right. Big difference. That'll run a lot smoother. So now I'm going to do the same thing with the other washer. Okay, so now we have 2 mirror polished washes that we'll be putting back in. But since we have the strop out, what I'm actually going to do, might as well strop the blade a little since we already have the strop out. A little polish on there. Rub it in a little. Okay. Don't mind getting my hands a little dirty. Turn it this way and make it easier for you to see. Now we just take the blade, figure out where the angle is, just run it. It'd be easier to do it like this, just at a slight angle. Strop one side. I can show you a little bit better here. So you take it, make sure you're at the right angle, and just want to strop one side. Stop before you get to the edge so you don't cut your strop. Make sure that there's oil. Add a little bit more so we have a nice even amount on the whole surface here. I mean, you can't have too much on there, but we have a nice surface. So you find the right angle and you just drop it. And I wipe this side off, and I do the same thing on the other side. Find the right angle. Okay, so now that I'm done stropping the blade and I have my 2 polished washers, I'll be putting it all back together, and I'm just going to use a little Threadlock and some KPL pivot lube, and I just put all my screws back together. And just start by putting a little bit of Threadlock on a piece of paper so I don't get it all over my mat. And then what I need to do is I need to put 1 pivot washer here. Then I put that in place. When you take a little bit of the Threadlock, you don't need much. Put it in. Take the right bit here, which is this one. And you screw it in best you can, nice and tight. Okay. You put the blade back in like so. Oh, almost forgot. Gotta put some of that pivot lube on there. Just a little, you don't need much. I like to put a little bit on the pivot itself because that's what really hits the blade. Okay. Now we put the blade back on. It's nice and snug there. Okay. Now we put a little bit more pivot lube right on the blade. This is where the Q-tips come into play. If you put a little too much, just take a little off. Okay, make sure this is nice and clean. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to put the other side back on. Nice and snug. Perfect. Okay, take the other pivot screw. Tiny bit of Threadlock. Tighten it up. Okay. Threadlock's just going to keep the screws obviously from coming out as easy. Helps hold them in, you know. Screw that in nice and tight. Okay. Now I noticed this was on the other side. I'd rather have it tip up on this side. So I'll be putting it over here. I start with the middle screw. Don't get it too tight because you want the other ones to be snug in there too. And might have to shift it. Okay. Now you can tighten it up now that you have two screws in there. Okay, put the third one in. Okay. And we wipe off any extra lube that might have gotten around. And let's check it. Ooh, that is, look at that. Oh yeah, that's very smooth now. Look at that. Unbelievable. Yeah, oh yeah, very smooth operation. Look at that. Oh yeah, much smoother, much better. And it's as simple as that. You just polish the washers, you make it so the whole thing just moves a little bit better. And you're lubing it up at the same time, so that helps. You know, it's good to do a little maintenance on there. While we're at it, we stropped up the blade, you know, just honed it up just a slight bit. And that's about it, really. So I hope you liked that video. Like I said, if you liked it, give it a nice little like. If you're not subscribed, be part of that wolf pack. Subscribe, guys. You know, that way you don't miss any videos. Alright, guys. And, you know, stay safe. Don't be cutting yourself on your knives. I know you balisong guys like to flip around your knives all the time. Just be careful. And I will see you guys on the next one.